What's up everybody, Teldo here, and today I'm gonna share my build and a little bit of tips and tricks about Ramsay, the new gigantic hero. And also, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of gameplay of him as well. So first, let's get started with the talents that I like to pick for the core build that I like to go for. I'm going to show you guys a dodge build, which I think is incredibly powerful against melees, and especially. Ramsay is unbelievably evasive with his in-combat mobility, but out of combat, he really lacks some of the mobility. He's not the best at chasing, he's not the best at getting away either. So I'm going to explain to you guys how this works. The core talent for my build is bouncing around, the first talent that I usually pick. It reduces your rush cooldown by 50% if you hit an enemy with it. Rush is the right-click ability which makes you dodge to the side like this. It has 6 seconds cooldown, and if I hit an enemy with the cooldown reduction now, you see, it has only 3 seconds cooldown. The range on the melee hit is very close, and it happens where you use the skill. So if I dodge towards this guy, I don't hit him either, right? I have to start next to him basically when I start using that ability. So that's something to keep in mind, and it can be very tricky to use. Then I like to go for Harm String, which applies a slow after my dodge attack. And the dodge attack works like this. You just dodge to the side and press left click, or you use your right click and then you use left click. The slow on it is very good, has longer range, and it also deals a little bit more damage. But the reason why we go for this build is primarily because of Lash Out, which makes our dodge attacks reduce the cooldown of our rush by even longer. Like, you reduce it by 1 second every time when you do that. And then you can do little things like this. You can do your right click, you can do a dodge attack, normal dodge, dodge attack, and then right click again, right? Right click, dodge attack, dodge attack, right click, dodge attack, and it's just a never-ending circle, and you can just keep dodging around non-stop with it, making it very hard for enemies to hit you. And it's especially good if you can kite away from enemies like this when they're chasing you. It's so incredibly powerful. You will see some of that in the gameplay after I explain the build. Another core talent which you get on level 5. This is basically the core build. Those are the 3 talents that you need really badly, and then once you reach level 5, you go for Adrenaline, which gives you 10 stamina in the end when you use your right click. So the thing is, if I'm out of stamina, I can't do dodge attacks anymore, right? Because then this is my dodge then, and I can't do a dodge attack after this or anything. I can't really be evasive, nothing, right? I could still use my right click though, and with that talent, I get 10 stamina back, which gives me enough to just do another dodge, and then I can do this combo endlessly again, which is the whole point of it. And this is a big power spike of Ramsay, which makes him very strong. And that's basically the core build, the core gameplay. When you're like in the middle of the fight, you just try to be very evasive, you use those abilities. But you have to make sure that you keep hitting your right click. If you miss it, 6 seconds cooldown can be really tricky. You can just spam a few dodge attacks afterwards, but it uses your stamina up quickly. But it helps you to get the cooldown of your right click down if you do mess it up, which happens sometimes. And then for the rest of the build, I like going for the interrupt on the right click sometimes because you do use it all the time. And if you can use an interrupt on a Jarnock Fire Breath or on a Taito Spin or something like that, it's very good. You can also interrupt creatures from gaining power with it, right? Then I like taking lasting effects sometimes. The order here can be chosen depending on what you want, what your preferences are, or what's happening in the match. The extra poison duration just increases the damage quite well. Your poison is one of your best tools to really deal damage in a team fight, and I'm going to showcase just in a second how that works. So I like going for that sometimes. Another great talent, which is expensive though because you need 2 points for it, is Endurance into Skirmishing, which gives you faster stamina regeneration and out of combat health regeneration. So if you just leave a fight, you start regenerating health a lot quicker and you can retrain a lot faster, which is super powerful for assassins. It's pretty much my favorite talent. I love taking it on trip, and I think it's really good, but you have to spend 2 points here, so it's worth deciding. Like, it depends on what you need for the match, because sometimes you want to get the whip around, which deflects projectiles on your Q, if you play against a bunch of ranged enemies, or if you play against a bunch of melees, you can also go for a Whippersnapper, which makes you do a powerful attack at the end of your Q, which can be pretty nice. You can also get a Daze in the end, which helps against melees as well. I generally like Whip Around though because it makes it an AoE skill around you, and that's very useful for a combo that I'm going to showcase now. So your poison, when you press your E ability, it makes your next attack apply poison, right? And if you use it on one enemy, if you only hit one enemy with that attack, it's only going to apply poison to that one enemy, and then afterwards you can't apply it to anyone anymore. But there's a little trick you can do. If you hit multiple enemies with the first attack, you apply it to multiple enemies. You can just try to do that with a left click or a dodge attack or a right click, but it's a little bit more difficult to do. If you use it with your Q though, so if I press my E now and then the Q button, you see I poisoned 2 enemies here, and I could just disengage right now already, and you see the health bars are ticking down. It's quite a decent amount of damage. It's a dot on enemies, that means it will regenerate health more slowly. They get reduced healing because it is poison effect. It's just really good. And if it's like a very poke heavy fight, you can sometimes go in, just apply that poison to as many people as possible, and then just get the heck out of there with full stamina. It's pretty safe most of the time, and it can win you fights. That's like the main combo to win team fights, and then you just do your regular dodging around stuff like this. Oh, that was a little weird. So if you miss one of your attacks afterwards, it can be a little tricky to keep doing the dodging though. So yeah, you have to be very careful with that. And yeah, for the rest of the build, I either go for heavy poison, which is like a safer bet, or smear. I haven't really figured out when that is really useful. I don't know which buffs are really affected by it. I need to figure out how this exactly works, because preventing buffs from happening sounds pretty good. But yeah, go for the extra healing reduction most of the time. And here I generally go for the weakness. Other than that, you can use your ultimate to escape enemies, because it stealths you, and then you can regain some stamina and then try to get out when the enemies don't really know where you are anymore. Plus it deals a decent amount of damage. You see, like, it dealt like 50% damage to that enemy with a level 1 focus, and if it applies the poison to multiple enemies, that's how you can just win fights, right? You jump in, you apply your poison to everybody, and then you just use your ultimate to get out again, and yeah. Ramsay is very strong, and that's pretty much it for the build, and a few tips and tricks. Those are the things that I learned within the few days where I played him, and I realized how I was getting a lot stronger. There's a lot about stamina management as well, and making sure that you don't chase people with too little stamina, and always keeping a little bit of stamina or some cooldowns to really stay alive in some rough situations. But that's a little bit more in depth. And I will see if I might make a video for that in the future. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys to the gameplay, playing on Canyon 5 versus 5, and I have a very good round there with Ramsay. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the video. I didn't even look what they're playing. I don't... Actually, yeah, they have a decent amount of melees. One of us is already dead. Okay. That's like so huge when you have feeders in this game, by the way. It's very important that to notice when you're being focused and try to just survive and not die. Poison her, she's dead. Okay. Because you can be very evasive in this game if you have enough stamina. It's very easy to get away if you have stamina, but you use your stamina up really quickly in the middle of the fight as well. Oh. Oh god. Whew. And if the enemies are trying to focus down a target that is obviously just dodging all the time, then they're missing all their stuff, and you buy so much time. You're basically just tanking them all, and you're buying so much time for the rest of your team to do stuff. They just try to run after Singed. I love that. That's like the best comparison you can make in this game. If they focus me with a bunch of melees, you should never focus this guy as a melee. Especially not with multiple people, when he's like still healthy and everything. Because he will just dodge around and deal a lot more damage to you than they will deal. Okay, I'm gonna die for this. Hashtag worth though. Hashtag worth, I don't care. Let's go for extra poison duration. Honestly, I'm going for the interrupt. Just so I can... Okay, I poisoned her. Somehow she was right next to me and I didn't get the... Oh god. And they're doing it again. God. Okay, this is a really important talent.
My rival is down. Strike its hard now. We do not have much time.
Guardian, please. Only 2 of us remain? What the heck happened? Okay, sweet. Heavy poison. Trap wanted to go for me. Run. Got him. Can we win the game? Yeah. Woo! Nice. That's a clean, quick win.